Hello and welcome to a short video demonstrating how to insert and edit frames within the framing software. In order for us to insert wall frames, we need to go to the framing pull-down menu, Frames, and then select Insert Wall Frame. You should then be presented with a palette which allows you to configure the type of frame you would like to insert. I'm going to talk through some of the main options that are available. We have the material set which is available to us. We can then choose from one of the many configured material sets or the material set that you've created yourself. We can choose from different frame types such as external, internal load bearing, internal non-load bearing, and party. We can apply OSB on both sides or the external or internal side only. We can set up any tolerances for those plies as well. We also have the option to set up our noggings. We have the position. We can set this to single, double, midpoint, or third point. We have the option to have straight noggings or we can stagger them. If we have a double row of noggings, then we have the option to choose the height of those rows. We have the ability to insert skirting nogging, and we can choose whether to put that on the interior face, exterior face, or both. We can also configure other components of the frame as well. We can set the number of top rails and bottom rails. We can also set the frame studs as well, so from single, double, triple, or quadruple. We can also set the initial stud offset and then the stud centers from that point forward. We can also apply any sheeting oversails to the ply that we've put on. We can extend it from the base, for that's external and internal side, from the top, again for the external and internal side. We can also do the same for the plasterboard as well. We can also choose to include insulation, and if we do, we can choose the insulation type. We have fiberglass, rigid insulation, or blown insulation. Once we have selected our insulation type, we can then set our tolerances and our minimum width and height. We can also set our ply nailing as well from here. We can set the perimeter spacing, intermediate spacing, the nail diameter and length. We can also do the same for the plasterboard nailing. We can also set the breather paper, whether to apply it or not. And then we can choose the breather paper itself. And any start and end and top and bottom overlaps. We can also choose to include a vapor barrier and then set some overlap values as well. Lastly, we can also configure our frame so it has top and bottom rails. We can choose to put these on the external and internal faces. Now that I've configured my frame, I can then minimize this palette and then start drawing. Now I'm going to draw my external frames for this small house. I'm going to draw on top of the architect's original drawing. As I draw my frames, you can see in the view on the left hand side, we are not just drawing lines, but actual 3D objects. Once I've drawn my frames, I would need to select the external side, and this will apply the OSB to that particular side. If we decided that the external frames need to be double studs instead of single, we can apply this detail from the frame properties. We can also go ahead and change the center of the studs as well. If we did not add noggings originally, then we can go to the frame properties and add our noggings in. We can add noggings to multiple positions, but in this example, I'm going to insert double. We also have the option to stagger our noggings and add any skirting noggings and robust detail noggings as well. We can specify global setting out points for our frames as well. We can do this by going to the framing pull-down menu, frames, and then selecting specify global setting out position. We can then choose a location to place our setting out point. You can have as many setting out points as you like. Once you've done this, I can make this frame EX2 follow that setting out point. I can do this by going into the properties and going to the frame setting out section within the properties. I can change the setting out position of the frame to global setting out point, and then I can choose from the setting out point that I have. Now, if I was to select my setting out point and then move it, you'll see that the studs move along with it. I can also adjust the frame size from within the properties. Or I can use the grip points on either end to extend or shorten the panel. We can easily copy our frame by selecting the copy command on the AutoCAD ribbon and then selecting the frame. We can also use the standard AutoCAD mirror command for our set of frames.